look at it, I always say, like, the best example of like framing for that is look at movies. I have young kids and we would still like to go to movies. There are no movies to go and see. So before, you could look at, like, go look at what movies came out in 1986 and you'll be like, there was 15 movies in the theater at that moment that I would go see. Now it's one, and that one will hit streaming in 2 weeks also. So just the model changes. So if you're going to admit that there's only one or two, you have to admit that the industry is on the, and by the way, I don't want to get into politics, but if you look at what happened, if you look at those celebrities endorsing and they thought that this was the win in a world where they're paying attention to the Joe Rogans, they're paying attention to people like that. Right. So, you know, we can talk about how many podcasts there are. There's a lot of podcasts, but at the same time, the number one podcast is a show that people spend 3 to 4 hours on per episode, listening. Which, by the way, would go on in complete opposite of what you would say to an audience, which would be, hey, we're in the TikTok generation and reels and shorts and stories and people have no attention. Well, apparently they have attention span because they're not only watching Joe Rogan for 4 hours, but they're also binge watching shows for 30, 40 hours a week. So we tend to tell stories that aren't necessarily the whole story. And figuring out where that place is, I could say, yeah, there's so many more podcasts, but just think about podcasts and the fact that podcasts primarily are television shows now, 100%. Yeah. And their length is 4x what they used to be. And by the way, when the host talks about products or services, the inclination for the audience to buy it is at a scale we've never seen in what used to be the attention of 100%. Because you feel like you're part of that community, right?